Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. Happy New Year. I hope you had a good time celebrating New Year's Eve. I sure did. I was in Hamburg with some of my high school friends, some of my older friends, connecting back with them, and just yeah, it was a long night. It was a long, long night. But yeah, now I'm back in Berlin. And yeah, it's been a while since I made a video. I was also on a cruise ship with my family. We did that over Christmas, 7 days on a cruise for me the first time. And yeah, I can say it's a very recommendable experience. It was not very boring at all. I met some really cool people there, and we were yeah, we were certainly having a lot of fun. Also deep into the evenings, and yeah, I was partying for the first time with my two brothers. We were all three in the same place. And while I like to party from time to time for sure, those two guys are a little bit more chill. They don't go out as much. So I had to convince them a little bit. But my younger brother actually, yeah, he had some dance moves, which was cool to see, and it was fun to be hanging out with them and doing that activity as well, instead of just playing booster battles against each other, or in any case, yeah, so I haven't been doing any videos, and yeah, the GP, the Spotlight Series in Atlanta, is coming up very soon, so I might just get some videos in there, and get you guys up to date on what's been happening, because Standard is still evolving since the Arena Championship a month ago, roughly. Still evolving, still things are shifting, and we have this new deck here that just won a Magic Online challenge, and is also pretty popular on the Magic Arena ladder already. I've been running into it continuously. I call it Esper Pixie. I mean, that's sort of the name that got popularized, but Pixie is just one of the cards in the deck that is not like this is the main pillar. I mean, this is one of the stronger plays for sure, but in any case, it's Esper Pixie now. If you have a better name, let me know. So, what is this deck trying to do? We are playing enchantments that produce value, like these 14, where the 12, they are pretty locked in, I'd say. Stormchasers, Nowhere, and Hopeless Nightmare. And then the Crypt is sort of like a 1-mana, return a creature from your graveyard, and you have plenty good creatures to return. So this is maybe a little bit of a flex slot. It's not the strongest thing for sure, but you do need something in play already to have it be great. I guess in a pinch you can play it for 1 mana and then cast a Fear of Isolation on turn 2 to be able to cast the thing, but that's obviously not what you want to do. I think Hopeless Nightmare and Stormchasers, that's sort of what you want to have in your opening hand, and then you enable with that your Pixie and your Fear of Isolation to be really good. And of course, this town ain't big enough as well. So you have like these 12 cards that function very well with these 12 cards, and that sort of these 12 need these other 12, to be fair. But if they are there, then you basically 2-for-1. You have undercosted flyers. Like a Pixie plus a Nightmare is a 2-mana play. That's a 2/2 flyer and makes them lose 2 life and discard 1, right? And you can even separate the mana cost on multiple turns. So very, very strong, of course. Then we have the Spiteful Hexmage, which loves to give the Cursed Roll token to the Stormchaser's talent, or to the Optimistic Scavenger, which are just 1/1s in themselves. They're not affected by, they grow, or the prowess is not affected by the curse. So that's pretty nice. And yeah, just an aggressively slanted creature. So this deck is surprisingly aggressive. It can really play a nice value game, but it can also beat down very quickly. And that's also where the Optimistic Scavenger comes into play. The Hexmage, the Drain from the Hopeless Nightmare, the Prowess from the Talent, and then the Bounce and Nowhere to run to get it through, and then Flyers in the air to kill them with. And here, I think this is another flex card. This is the Entity Tracker. Some people are playing Sheltered by Ghosts. Some people are playing Mockingbird to copy the cheap creatures, which is pretty reasonable. Others are playing, what are they playing? They're playing Sheltered by Ghosts, I already mentioned. Floodpits Drowner is a card that people play. Kaito is a card that people play. You can return your cheap flyers. Kaito's pretty reasonable. This list by claudiooh is playing the Entity Trackers. Obviously good in a deck with a lot of enchantments. I'm gonna try it out. I'm not like looking at this card, I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. I mean, the downside of for sure is that it's kind of bad against removal spells. It does have Flash, which helps a little bit, but especially Cut Down is a beating for this card. And The rest of your deck is pretty good against removal spells because everything is so cheap. So putting a creature into your deck that's all of a sudden not that good against removal spells is a little bit weird to me. But yeah, I mean, Kaito has its problems too. And yeah, we're just going with the tracker. The mana base, 12 fast lands and the rest pain lands. Pretty hefty, pretty painful. 11 pain lands here, so sort of like Convoke mana base pretty much. You can cast your things on time. Your mana is reasonable, but it's going to be painful and it's going to come into play tapped after turn 4. And then sideboard, we're looking at Destroy Evil. You know, Temporary Lockdown is a beating for this deck. I mean, Temporary Lockdown numbers are very low, but if you run into mono white or domain, you're of course Destroy Evil is one of your best cards there. 3 copies of Immortalize. This is sort of like the negate, the disdain for stroke slot. Tidebinder in here as well for domain and whatnot. Couple copies of Authority. It's an enchantment, so it helps with the Scavenger and the Tracker. Seems pretty smart to play some Authorities against red. Seems pretty reasonable. And then Sheltered by Ghost to accompany the Authority of the Consuls. A free 2 split there. Nothing much to say. 2 Rest in Peace. Pretty good against yeah, the various graveyard synergistic decks. May it be Reanimation, Valgavoth, Atraxa, or may it be Omniscience, which is also now a new deck I might feature. It's like an Omniscience combo deck. Or of course Oculus and the Terror List. 1 copy of Tithing Blade. I like this one. It's kind of nice. It's pretty good with, you know, all the return effects. I think pretty reasonable to play this card. It's, yeah, I mean, it's sacrifice any creature, so it's not like Edict where like against some decks it's going to be very good, against some decks it's going to be worse. But I think this is a pretty reasonable card, and I could honestly see it in this slot in the main deck as well. You know, like if you play against mono red, it's not even that embarrassing, and I mean, just repeating those effects is pretty damn cool, pretty strong. So yeah, that is the sideboard. Looks pretty reasonable, looks pretty tuned already. Maybe could be better, but again, I just came back from vacation, so I'm not like gonna swing out the strongest of opinions. I feel like I've already thrown out a bunch of opinions on some of these cards, even though I haven't really. I've basically just played against this deck. You know, so there's that. But yeah, anybody interested in some competitive gameplay by a professional player like me on Esper Pixie shall continue watching, especially if you're considering playing this deck yourself. Might get some info out of it that is useful. And if you're playing Atlanta and you're not playing this deck, might be useful to know how it's working. So, all right, let's go. Let's see some gameplay. I play first. Yeah, I mean, this has the talent into Fear, although I might actually start with Scavenger here to get the most out of the counters. Play a little bit off curve, I guess. But I think that's what you want to be doing here. Pretty proactive hand. And I think where the advantage of this deck lays is that it just plays at a different level in a way, right? Like it plays such efficiently costed cards that I think some of the games can feel like playing Modern, you know, or like playing Pioneer, just playing a different format because the deck is so efficient and fast and powerful and, you know, all those euphemisms you want to use. A little bit awkward with this off-curve situation, but if I would have gone talent into Fear, I wouldn't even have an attack right now. So that wouldn't have been optimal, but now I'm like sitting on 2 2-mana cards, which is not great for my turn 3. I'm kind of like misusing my mana, like I'm wasted a mana here. I'm gonna waste a mana next turn likely, although I guess not actually. I'm gonna Fear plus Stormchaser, so I'm not wasting mana next turn. And then on the turn after I can go Town plus another talent, and then the orders will be free freeze. Okay, pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable play. No, let's not tap incorrectly. I think I'll keep growing the Scavenger. The 2/3 is a nice size anyways. Do I make a 4/4 or 3/4? I'd probably just make a 4/4. If that means if they want to get a hit in, they have to remove this. But then I still have the 4/4, right? So that's nice. And then you also have the combo of this town ain't big enough. Stormchaser talent very long in the game. Like I played with Dimir against this deck one game, like one match, and I lost game 3 because they just we kind of traded resources, and then they just had talent plus this town ain't big enough, and they were able to just keep bouncing and making others in the process, and I wasn't able to beat that. Okay, what are we doing here? I could go pretty Hail Mary. I can bounce the Seraph. It's probably I should just do that. Let me tap correctly. All right. How do I put the counters this time? Well, I want to deal max damage, but this thing will have a good attack next turn. If I... probably just put 2 counters here, maybe. They have a Seraph next turn. I guess I'll just do this. Oh. Yeah, maybe I should have put 1 counter here, so I can block the Seraph. Sorry, I can attack into the Seraph with my Fear. Leaving back blockers doesn't make much sense if they have a Seraph anyways. They can give this flying and gain some life. Nowhere to run. That's pretty good. My other line is to get the town ain't big enough back. What is happening here? They have a Flood Pits maybe? Flood Pits likely. Maybe a counterspell. Probably not. Probably just a Flood Pits. So they're going to tap one of my dudes. Then I can, in combat, grow my stuff. This is going to be a 5/5. These are going to be bigger. I could... Okay, let's just go to combat, I guess. See if they have the Flood Pits. They do. Let's make them do their thing. And then I can kill off the Novice Inspector. Pre-combat, give this 2 counters, and they block, and die. And yeah, there you have it. I mean, I was able to vomit my hand to the board and kill them on turn number 5. It's pretty impressive, actually. While I was able to bounce their thing, kill stuff. Yeah, this is pretty cool. And they had a Sheltered by Ghosts as well on turn 2. And it didn't really matter. I was able to kill them on turn 5. That's sort of what this deck is capable of, right? This was like a premium draw here on the play, to be fair. This is where you want to be. Okay. Destroy Evil. We literally don't have artifact removal. Could have Exercise somewhere. Steel Seraph is a little bit annoying, but I guess I do have nowhere to run for it. My opponent's running probably Sheltered by Ghosts. They probably keep it in. They have the Flood Pits as well. I'm just wondering, like, if I want to have any of this stuff. I might want to have Destroy Evil for the Sheltered. Tidebinder. I think the Crypt is probably bad. I think Destroy Evil is a little bit better than Sheltered by Ghosts. Maybe I should run this card against them. I'm not the biggest fan of Sheltered. I mean, life total isn't that important. We have bounce and removal. What about the Entity Tracker? Tidebinder. Tidebinder shuts off things. Maybe I'll play Tidebinder instead of 1. Then I'll leave in all the 1-drops. I think they're pretty core. Maybe you can trim on the Hexmage, but I don't think so. And yeah, keep in mind that, like, while if you play a deck like Dimir midrange, you can really shift and, you know, become this like go bigger control deck against these aggressive decks. Maybe blue-white Convoke or mono-red or Jeskai Convoke or this deck. That sounds pretty good. But with this deck, you can't. Like, you are going to be an aggressive deck in almost all matchups. That was a nice draw. A little painless source. yeah, you just can't, right? So you have to keep that in mind. Don't shift and try to be like overly defensive or have too many removal spells. There's a very fine structure that you don't want to play and mess around with, right? Like you don't want to cut any of the 24 core cards, I think. The Pixie, the Fear, probably the Scavenger, and then the 12 enchantments that you want to return. All right, what do we do here? Unfortunately, I can't go double 1-drop. I can go Isolation. That's probably my best bet here. I could offer the trade, which they might take or might not take. I could go just Scavenger to then grow it again. I think this time I just go Fear, get my blocker going. Yeah, the entity tracker looks a little slow here, not gonna lie. Not that Tidebinder would have been much better. Maybe something like Sheltered by Ghost would have been fine, but they also haven't played anything that's like good to kill. So they're looking to have Flood Pits again, I would assume. I could just pass with the tracker up and really slow this game down. They're gonna... Yeah, I mean, I might just do that. Could also play a Scavenger and play a Talent. And then... Could also play Talent, Pixie, Talent. I think I'm just gonna pass with the tracker. Let's attack. Let's... No, they let me attack. Interesting. Maybe they're just sitting on a clue. Alright, interesting. Okay, fair enough. Maybe they're sitting on Curiosity, Sheltered by Ghosts. A side bonus that this deck has, that it has like these cheap flyers that are a little bit bigger sized. Like the 2/3 is a really nice size in this format, a 2/3 flyer. Because of Fairy Mastermind, Spyglass Siren. And that way, opposing Curiosity is just a lot less threatening. Also, this Tone 8 Big Enough is one of the best cards against Curiosity in the format. Lines up very nicely, so another good one. Which I think makes this deck in theory favorable against Dimir. And that's a reason why people like it. Soul Petition. Okay. Sure. And they're not pressuring me anyhow. I don't really know what's going on. I'm wondering if I should keep up the river. Probably. Just in case they play a Sheltered by Ghosts. I kind of do want to get the second white out, but nah. Just attack with this, I think. It's a little weird. I mean, they're sitting on a really reactive draw. Soul Petition. Well, sometimes aggressive matchups slow down. I don't want to attack with the Fear, which I could. Maybe I'm being a little bit too cautious. I just don't want to give them a window. Maybe I should have attacked there, though, to be honest. That was a little bit too cautious. I didn't want to give them a window of the Curiosity, but now I have this town ain't big enough anyways. So if they go for Curiosity, I'm just going to bounce it. So I probably should have just attacked with the Fear of Isolation there. Also, I kind of want them to play Curiosity, right? Because then next turn I'm gonna like really explode to the board. Okay, another Siren, sure. Or an expand. Yeah, makes more sense. Yeah, makes sense. It flies. It's bigger. Another one. Another one. I mean, I have my combo again. I have my Stormchasers plus this town ain't big enough, so if this game really drags out, we can just do that. What you can also do with this deck, you can bounce your 2 own things. It's not unreasonable. Do I want to do that? Probably not this turn. I could bounce the Fear to get like a bunch of triggers. Get like an additional trigger. I'd rather keep up my counter. My bounce, I mean. Just buff this one. They can like triple block the Novice on my order, but if they do that, I can play an instant to make them 4/4. Maybe I should have attacked with Fear there. That they quadruple block. Alright, fair enough. Well, I can just bounce one of them, right? Bounce the talent. So now I don't have any answers anymore. Okay, sure. Well, I guess this was a pretty good outcome for my opponent, I guess. Not the greatest outcome for me. But again, I mean, I still have this tracker there, and I have talent plus this town ain't big enough. So it's this game, like, it's kind of cool that I have this inevitability in a way, right? It's good for scrappy games for sure. And this is a bit of a scrappy, weird game. Anchorage would be pretty good in this matchup. Just the 2 free flyers is quite nice. 4 inspectors. Nowhere to run. They have 3 cards in hand. Maybe I messed up here. Maybe I needed to play the talent first. Maybe I just go for tracker now. But then do I want to attack even if they go triple block? I don't love it. I'm just gonna chill. Maybe, yeah, tricky. They have these clues. They have a lot of cards on me. I could play tracker here. Play around a counterspell. I think I should rather play around a Sheltered by Ghost, but I guess if they go Sheltered by Ghost, I'm kind of happy about it. So I have this nowhere to run. Weird game. I maybe could have snuck in a couple points with this Fear earlier. But besides that, I think I played fine. They just keep all their low drops. Another Soul Petition? No. Well, the party's about to start. If this tracker lives, I don't think my opponent's gonna win this game. Alright. Where do we spread some love? Maybe a 1 on the Fear. Well, now they have 4 power flying. We do have 1 removal though. So I can go Fear, pay 2, and then goes Talent again. They wanna kill that. Okay, sure. With that on the stack, I'm gonna cast this so I get the draw trigger. They're gonna have to do some chump blocking this turn, I can tell you that much. So this way, if I would have let the Tidebinder resolve first, and this has no abilities, and then I play Nowhere to Run, then I don't get a draw. So I get this triggered this way, doing it this way. Alright, well, let's play you, I guess. Maybe I should have not done that. Anyways, it doesn't really matter too much, I guess, just this. Make the Pixie a little bigger. Okay. I could return a land, actually. It's kind of funny. And then play another. I guess I'm going to do that. It's maybe a little loose, but if I don't draw a land with this Fear, I wouldn't even have been able to play like the Talent or whatever. So now I can play another spell and get another counter and so on and so on. They're 12. Let's put another roll on you, whatever. I guess I'll make this bigger. And I have 16 power attacking them. And I could attack with the tracker as well. If they triple block, they chump. I guess that's fine-ish. They have also these guys to worry about. I think I can just attack. Okay, well, no, I'm not going to attack the tracker, probably. Alright. Is there a conceivable way I lose this game? If they have Sheltered by Ghost plus Curiosity. They don't even have big creatures, though. I mean, if they're doing this, they lose 2 flyers. Yeah. Probably happy. I mean, I don't know. Like, they need a split up at this point. But even split up doesn't really accomplish that much. Sure. Like, if this is happening, they're just gonna die. Bird. I want to kill the birds. Yeah. Alright. Easy. Played a bit of a long game here against blue-white Convoke. They didn't draw much payoff. They just had a bunch of removal and flood pits. I don't know if they took out some curiosities or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you're not winning games when you have just 1-drops and removal and Tidebinders. Especially Soul Petition seems pretty bad in this matchup. Like, all my spells are very cheap. And I'm good at like defending myself, so you can't like rush me. And then at that point, Soul Petition is just a bounce spell for 2 mana in a way. That's just not gonna cut it. Alright, there we go. First one down. Interesting. Against Samir Black. Okay, is this a keepable hand? 5-lander. I think this hand operates pretty well on 2 and 3 lands. 5 is a lot. I'm gonna just take a mulligan here. Okay. That was a little bit better, I would say. I think this is a good decision, right? Like, just keep it simple here. Okay. Interesting. Putting the Hexmage is like, it's not really where you want to be, right? You want to make the Hexmage target a creature that's a 1/1, so maybe I'll just go with the Nightmare here. Yeah. Haven't drawn any Nightmares so far, even though we had kind of a long game. No fucking no way. In the main deck. Holy cow. Wow, this deck is popular, huh? In the main deck. That's how popular this deck is. Okay. Well, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That's obviously insane. Like, that's just like super inbred metagaming against one archetype. It hardly can be right, but this is a good sideboard card. I mean, playing it in a main deck is egregious, but hey, sideboard, yeah, if you want to beat up on Hopeless Nightmare, let's go. I was also wondering about Oculus. Like, if your opponent goes turn 1 Hopeless Nightmare, and you just discard your Oculus and go like Helping Hand on turn 1, that's pretty good. So that's a deck that also might have an advantage. So here I have to play Tracker. I'm just like, this is kind of like my game plan. If my opponent has a cut down, I just lose on the spot, right? Which is pretty rough. I just hope they tap out for like the 3/2. I really hope that will happen. I need kind of like a, I don't know, I mean, the Bailoff is brutal. Like, it also has 4 toughness, so it goes around the nowhere to run. Pretty good card against me here. Ooh, interesting. Do I want to draw a bunch of cards? I'm at 8 life already. That's ridiculous. Bailoff on turn 1. Something. That's so ridiculous. I mean, I think I've never seen a turn 1 Bailoff in my life. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. I mean, I just like, how do you win against a turn 1 free 4/4? Like, what? Get out of here. That's funny. The deck is apparently really popular. Otherwise, you would be insane to do that. I also don't, like, if you're playing it, like, no, I do not recommend putting a Bailoff in your main deck. That seems outrageously bad. But it's a good sideboard card against this deck, I would say. Looks pretty good. Interesting. Okay, so 5/4 menace. The 4 toughness is pretty good against this deck. Maybe you want some Flood Pits Drowners. I'm just kind of losing to these big creatures. Okay, how do I get out of this? I guess I need a this town ain't big enough. I guess I'll start with this. Return my nowhere to run, right? Yeah. Maybe I get to draw an untapped land. Okay. I could also go Cadaver, go to 5 life, bring Hexmage into play. And then I have a jump blocker and a double block. They also have Cottage. If they have 2 removal spells, I die. If they have removal spell here, I also kind of die. I'm just in big trouble, honestly. I guess I just have to hope they just have nothing, and then at that point, the nowhere to run is my best bet. Okay. Yeah, I probably have an instant speed removal, huh? Well, I will double block here and see what happens. I'll have a response. I mean, I'm by no means winning this game, but maybe I have a chance. This worked, surprisingly. At 2, they have a Dread Knight. We'll see, we'll see. A Glisser, okay. Yeah. The Entity Tracker really didn't perform here. Just a little too slow. I mean, I did get to draw some cards, but it's really not what this deck wants, I think, necessarily. Because, like, you have a lot of value already. Same with the Crypt. The Crypt is just, like, clunky and expensive, and value is, like, I have plenty value. I have, like, 2 Nightmares. It's already plenty value. I can get the tracker back, but I just die. Yeah. I'm not seeing a line here, guys. I guess the line I have is this. On tracker. Cast tracker. Let's play this first. Let's use this and this. Oh no, never mind. Yeah. Let's do this. And then I guess I will use the black here. Because I only have Stormchaser's talent. If I use this, yeah. I have to use it anyways, because otherwise I die. So this way I get like the white 1-drops as outs, and not Stormchasers, but the white 1-drops and the Hexmage. Right? Yeah, I mean, I play this, they have 4 attackers, I die. That's sick. I mean, should I just concede the match? I mean, what the heck, bro? Come on. Are you serious? Are you serious? Okay, I guess I'm cutting Nightmare. Tithing Blade, and Destroy Evil, and Normalize. Sheltered. Sheltered doesn't seem like a good idea against someone that's running removal spells for cheap. Could play Tidebinder or Normalize, I guess. Crypt seems fine. Just Tidebinder. I don't love these 3 mana cards in this deck. I feel like you want to be very efficient. They have these Balefs, which are 4/4s. Maybe I'll just play some Normalize. Alright, I cut the Nightmare. Which cards get worse? I mean, this gets worse. This gets worse. I still have some stuff to return. I mean, I have the Tithing Blade now too. I could trim some of them, theoretically. Alright, I'll leave it like this. Whatever. Whatever. That was just funny. Okay, I mean, this deck's just... I assume it's just been going rampage on Arena, and my opponent was like, I have enough. This hand seems fine. I guess I go with Scavenger. This hand's pretty strong, actually. They have the cut down. If they didn't have the cut down, this would have been... Oh, that's better for me. The duress, fine. I can work with that. I can definitely work with that one. So the Hexmage is also kind of decent with the Pixie. Even... I think I just put a counter... I'll put this here. Put a counter here to be better against like a -2/-2. Is kind of good with Pixie because you can just return the curse token, right? And then you have like a 1-mana 3/2 and a 1-mana 2/2 flyer, which is just, again, very undercosted. And these are the types of draws that, like, you know, pretty strong, right? Like, what are we doing here? It's pretty powerful. So here I can go Pixie, return the Hexmage, and just up the pressure. I think I should do that. And then I can play Hexmage and put the curse on the Pixie. Yeah. It's just crazy, right? Like, it's like turn 3. Oh, that was brutal. All right, my opponent has all the aces. The Obstinate Baloth in game 1, and now the Maelstrom pulls here. That was brutal. That was Just absolute perfect. Duress, take my destroyable, go for the throat my 1-drop, boom, kill 2 of my. I mean, that's just a nut draw from their side. My draw was pretty good too, but now I'm flooding a little bit. Don't really have any card advantage left. And I feel like if this deck comes to this situation, it's kind of difficult to catch back up. You need like Stormchaser's talent. Yeah. I don't know if I love Duress against this deck for what it's worth. I mean, I don't know what my opponent has like as other options, but like this deck plays very, very cheap spells that they use very quickly. And they also have a ton of creatures. So, you know, I don't know, like another land, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Flooding out, you know. It's a thing in Magic the Gathering. Okay. They want to have a non-painful green, and they know I don't play any basics, I guess. There you go, sure. Just have a kill spell from a Pixie. Maelstrom Pulse. No, not a 2-rest. Yeah, I mean, playing like 1 to 2 Duress, I guess, is fine, but playing so many of them is pretty bad, I guess. Stormchaser's talent. No. Pixie is a 1/1. That's 7. No, thank you. The Maelstrom Pulse was brutal. That really knocked me out this game. Alright, let's draw nowhere to run. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna block the Bailoff and bounce the Glisser and bounce my Pixie. Wonderful. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm not gonna win this game. I don't even know how. I don't know. If I could stack my deck here, I would be able to win. Probably not. Maybe. I'm at 8. Jump here, trade here, attack for 2. Bounce, jump, take 3. The Shieldred there, I mean, was a little too much. If they draw a land there, yeah, I might have a chance. But the Shieldred, come on. Alright, I don't have life gain. I don't have Sheltered by Ghost. Maybe I need Sheltered by Ghost and then just like hope to Hail Mary them. I don't know. I feel like I got a little bit unlucky this game. I like drew cards in weird orders and just didn't really get there. Alright, GG, I guess. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, GG. Alright. Fair enough. The main deck Bailoff got me. Alright. You cheesed out a YouTuber. Hey, you made history for one YouTube video. Let's go. Congrats to that. Play first. Interesting. Technically functional. I mean, with the 1 talent and a removal, 2 pain lands. Gosh, I think this deck on the play This is like more of a controlling deck hand, right? I think on the play, I'd rather have more creatures. Yeah, something like this is just fantastic. What do we do? We go talent, Pixie talent. So I guess I don't. Pixie is too good, I think. So it's Nightmare and nowhere to run. Go talent turn 1, and then I go Pixie talent. Do I keep the nowhere to run? Do I keep the Pixie? Probably just keep the removal, honestly. Although I could deal a lot of damage with that. No, I don't know. That was interesting. What do you guys would have done? I mean, maybe Nightmare is better. On the other hand, I already have 2 good things to bounce. Yeah, cut down duress. Okay. People with those main deck duress. It didn't make a difference here. They would have taken my Nightmare. So didn't change anything, but yeah. Also, in the unknown, it's probably a bit better to keep the removal spell in case I play against Emberheart Challenger and friends. Okay. Some good disruption. Oh. Yeah, I don't love how this card is played so far. It hasn't looked that good. I mean, it was good against the Convoke opponent, the artifacts deck, but otherwise, the deck is a little low on like hard removal. Like we only have to know where to run at the bounce, right? So I feel like Flood Pits Drowner or something like that is warranted. Not sure if it's Flood Pits. It could just be Go for the Throat, honestly. Speaking of. Yeah. If you can take some key pieces away from this deck, the deck becomes a little anemic. Like they duressed one of my spells, they took one of my pixies. I was already on a mulligan, on the play to be fair. And now I'm just like doing nothing. I'm just gonna die to a 6/6. Yeah. This Cadaver Lab card, like these cards, maybe Sheltered by Ghost has to be in the deck. Like you need something to catch. Sheltered by Ghost might just be the best one, honestly. It's a little risky against the removal and all that, but I mean, I need more interaction, I think. You need more interaction. This Cadaver Lab, or like Tithing Blade. Tithing Blade at least. Like, you know, Tithing Blade is probably not that bad. Even as a main deck card, as I mentioned earlier. Like Tithing Blade would have been much, much better than the stupid Cadaver here. Like I would have been able to kill the bat, get it back with the Pixie. Like I would have actually winning this game probably. And the deck is too low on removal, let's be real. Yeah. Sorry for the slow roll there. I was just ranting about the weaknesses of this deck. This list in particular. And you know, a couple of these flag slots being different makes all the difference. The Cadaver Lab would have been a Tithing Blade, or the Tracker would have been Sheltered by Ghosts. Maybe things would have looked different. And you know, you have a lot of crappy creatures where you can put the Sheltered on, right? Like you don't care that much if like they kill the Otter or like the Hexmage or whatever. So Sheltered seems reasonable. It's just bad in response. Like if you cast it and then they have a cut down, like that's pretty bad. Interesting. Why not make a 6/6? Because I'm not 2-drop. Surprising to me that they don't make a 6/6 there. Interesting. I think making a 6/6 just straight up better. But okay. What do I know? Okay, yeah, I'm just dying to this demon, I guess. I can chump block it 1 turn. I go to 5, 3, 2. I think I'm just deterministically dead here. I think there's nothing. Like if my opponent doesn't disconnect from the game. Maybe I can kill them? Unlikely, probably. Especially with this stupid entity tracker. Like this is, again, like a matchup where it's supposed to be good, right? Like for what matchup is this? For the mirror match? They can know where to run it. It can't be good against aggro. It can't be good against black because black has like very good efficient removal for a free drop, right? It's even downable. Where do you want it? That's like the meta game, right? Like it's even bad into Fairy Mastermind. Like it just sucks. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what to say. The track is just terrible. I think it's actively bad. Like it's actively a card you don't want in your deck. Pretty harsh. Also saying that after it won a Magic Online challenge, which kind of proves that it's good, right? But maybe they just boarded it out every game because they realized it was bad, and that helps. So they only were affected by its badness in game 1. The last 2 cards. Sheltered. Normalize. Tidebinder. This deck should at least like consider playing Go for the Throat somewhere in the 75. I feel like Go for the Throat, it's good Magic the Gathering card against like Golgari opponents, against like this. Like I ran into Demons now, which is not a deck that's popular, but just having clean removal is kind of nice. Also, like Sheltered by Ghost as a sideboard card is kind of weird because the red decks have Lithomantic Barrage in the sideboard, which is really good against it. And the red decks also boarded a ton of removal post-board, I would say. So like that makes this much worse post-board than its pre-board, so it's a bit weird of a card. So yeah. Anyways, what do I do? Tidebinders. Normalize. Maybe just normalize. I'm on the play. I think on the draw I'm not gonna run normalize, but on the play it seems reasonable. Oh, seems fine. Sounds good. Let's see. All right. Tithing Blade is going to be awesome. I feel like the card, of course, is okay. That's not good. Of course, the card is not that exciting in some situations. But like even killing a Siren against Dimir, like we all know how good like every single small flyer is. So yeah. Now I'm gonna take the blade because it's that good. Pretty reasonable to play some in the main deck. I mean, I haven't really looked through the spoiler. Sorry, not the spoiler, the card gallery and like what cheap things you can sort of synergize with. But Tithing Blade strikes me as a pretty good one. It doesn't synergize as an enchantment, right? That's a little annoying, but I think that's fine. It's strong enough. It's interesting if you want to attack here or not. I mean, I deal 1 damage and I lose 1 life, essentially attacking there. So it's like we both lose 1, and because I'm the aggressor, I think I'm fine doing that attack. If I didn't want to trade 1 life here and 1 life there, I wouldn't. Also, having more spells in grindier postboard games is kind of nice with the Stormchasers. Like if I had a couple more Go for the Throats, I'd be pretty happy. Get Lost would have been much better in this Destroy Evil here, for what it's worth. Although they have the vacuum, so there's no getting back anything with the talent here. But yeah, they knocked me out pretty well here with these Deep Cavern Bats. Just no removal spell, nowhere to run. Maybe I can scry into 1. Mace my Tome. Nowhere to run would be very, very nice. Alright, sure. bit premature. I should have waited for them to pass the turn completely. This blows up the annex, I guess. They go to 10, they go to 6. They take the gain 2. What else am I drawing into here? I think it's better than random card off the top. I can also slow roll it, to be honest. No, I do want to get the prowess, don't I? Now I'm naked to a 6/6 again. Yeah, it's just not drawing this town ain't big enough, I guess, is pretty. That's a bummer. I didn't draw any of those in this match. I got my nowhere to run discarded. Yeah. So what do I do? Man, I mean, I got a little unlucky this match for sure. Like if I would have drawn any removal, any interaction off the top, these deep cavern bats were just brutal. Yeah. Like if I would have drawn this town ain't big enough here, I could have bounced this bat and killed the shield with attacked him for 6 down to 2 life. And no, I actually would have won the game on the spot. I would have had triple. I would have won the game. This town ain't big enough would have won me the game here. Because I would have triple prowess attack for 8. Oh well. Oh well. You're at 10, at 12. I would take 6. Sure. Give it to me. Give it to me. I'm not jumping. I'm going for a kill. Ah, man. I mean, we know they missed land drops. So they have spells. Left, unfortunately. Which means they likely will kill my creatures. Maybe they have Gix's command. Maybe they just make a fish. If they had Gix's command, it's a little bad, I guess, with the bats. So attack for 7, jump here, block these if they have nothing. If they have fish, they can kill me here actually, plus removal. If they have fish plus removal, they just take it all, make fish, kill one of my blockers, attack, kill me. Yeah, they misplayed. I mean, if they have double removal, that also is enough. All right, fair enough. Oh, the dream of the pixie. It's dying. It's dying. I'm losing rank. I went 1 and 2. Well. I do think this deck is pretty good. It seems good to me. But I would certainly make sure to have more interaction and not play Cadaver Lab. Hell to the no. And not play the entity track. I would play probably 2 Tithing Blades in those slots. And then I would have to roll a die if I want to go for the throat, blood pits, or sheltered. I guess sheltered makes some sense in the main deck, but it's a bit awkward in the post-board games. Flood pits is good with the bouncing stuff, I guess. So maybe it's just flood pits. Maybe it's like 2 flood pits and 1 go for the throat or something. That seems pretty safe to me. And yeah, I think with those extra changes, being able to then like kill all, like we lost because we were not able to kill creatures. The Golgari deck was able to hit us with 4/4s and Shieldreds. This deck was able to kill us with Shieldreds and Deep Cavern Bats and Archfiend of the Draws. We lost these games because we were not able to kill creatures. We had in the first game of this match, we had like 2 trackers and a Cadaver Lab. If those cards would have been a removal, we would have been fine. The Entity Tracker adds more card advantage, it adds more late game, but this deck does have some decent mana sinks already. This tone ain't big enough, you know? Stormchaser's talent plus this tone ain't big enough. Those are mana sinks. You can crack the Hopeless Nightmare. Just rebouncing and replaying spells. Like if I cast a Fear of Isolation and return a Nowhere to run, that's 4 mana spent, right? Even though it's just a 2-drop essentially that I cast on at first. So like there's a good amount of mana sinks. You can even craft this if you want, which is not that terrible. I mean, it's a drain that can finish your opponent off. It's not totally atrocious. It will come up every 20th game or something like that, maybe. Yeah, just there's already, like, the Entity Tracker was probably just a tryout, and they just ran well and just still won the challenge. But I would just really be hesitant to play that card. In any case, that's Esper Pixie. This deck strikes me as strong. I think it should be favorable against Dimir midrange because it like plays very fast to the ground, similarly to the Convoke decks. Dimir needs like Malicious Eclipse, Gix's Command to catch back up, but they might just already die by then. And you also have no more lives if you want to side that in to counter those sweepers. And then it just plays this like hyper aggressively, hyper powerful, undercosted plus card advantage game plan. And because it has enough of each pieces, like it has these 12 things to return that are strong, and like these 8 creatures plus the town ain't big enough, 12 cards to return them, and for value and this and that, makes it a pretty powerful strategy, I think. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it have some success in the meta game at Atlanta. But it also doesn't strike me as broken or anything. It's just, you know, you can beat it if you have cheap removal, if you have like Deep Cavern Bats, big creatures, something to exploit it with, I suppose. All right, well, thank you for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts on some of the opinions I sprouted out here. And yeah, thanks for watching as always. See you soon.